Let's talk about why we're failing to protect kids online and what we can actually do about it. First, I want to say I don't want to keep repeating why we're failing to protect kids online, because the thoughts that we say, the words that we say affect the feelings that we have. We might feel defeated. We might feel like, oh my God, there's way too much going on in the world. How the hell am I going to protect my kid from these bad guys? And then the actions we take because of those feelings and thoughts that we have is basically not conducive to our end goal. I'm getting this framework of circumstances that we have. Kids are online, there are predators online. Predators will prey on kids in the online space. Kids are cyberbullying other kids. Kids are going through a lot of mental health issues on the online space. Then of course we have hackers. That is a circumstance. The thoughts that we have about it influences our feelings, which influences our actions, and then influences our results. This is from Brooke Casilio from the Life Coach School, and this is her framework for basically how the world works. So this is why I'm not going to go too deep onto talking about so much about why we're failing, but more about what we can do as a society and as individual families to protect kids and stop us from feeling like we're really actually failing when we do have a great runway to change the way we think about security and safety, change the way we actually implement security and safety in our lives so that we can better protect kids. Hey, I'm CyberFareedah. I'm an award-winning Forbes 30 Under 30 internet safety expert. In this channel, all I talk about is what are ways that we can holistically protect kids online. So if you're a parent or you're a caretaker, welcome. This entire thing is just for you. One of the biggest ways that I believe we can do better as a society and as families and as people who are caretakers or parents of children in order to better protect them online is connecting with them before we try to control their actions, and also connecting with them before we try to correct their actions online. So what do I mean by that? Connection, the connection with yourself, your connection with your kid is the most important thing if you want to protect your kids online. This is where I talk about therapy a lot. I talk about different forms of therapy. It doesn't have to be just talk therapy. You can start your healing journey by listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, reading books, talking to different people who are in a completely different understanding or where you actually want to go, getting around different people, following different accounts on social media, taking note about what you're consuming and what you're thinking about so that you're in an environment that is a healing environment that better aligns you to the goal of making a better space online and offline for your kids. Now, I talk about this in this channel a lot, so I'm not going to go too deep into the therapy aspect. Obviously, I'm also not an expert in therapy. My expertise really lies in internet safety for kids, so we're going to stick to that. One thing I see us often do is that we are really quick to rush to kids or teens and be like, you're wrong, technology's wrong, the way they're spending time is wrong, your hobbies are wrong, back in our day or back what we used to do, we need to get back to this, get back to that. And when we start the conversation of this is a terrible space, but there's some great things, or this is a terrible way of using your time, but there's some good things, we automatically create a disconnect between what we're trying to connect them with and then warning them against. If we really want to command their attention, we have to connect with them as a human being, understanding that just because you don't understand their love for watching someone game on YouTube or watching esports or going to an anime convention or watching a bunch of TikToks or dressing up and feeling really good in fashion or whatever it is, or that little thing, or like opening up toys or whatever it is, does not mean that their thing is not good. Now, of course, with each and everything I said, and honestly, each and everything in life, there's always going to be a bad side to it. But if you really want people to understand some of the dangers of different things that they may do, even reading a lot, like reading is amazing, but if all you do is read and you're not going outside, you're not getting a breath of fresh air, you're not maybe even talking to someone about what you've read, then it's less likely to be as beneficial. Maybe you have to write it down in a journal instead of just keep on going and reading, maybe reflect on what you read or think about it critically, or what would I change in this instance. That allows you to really benefit from what you read, just instead of just reading a bunch of books and then not even really thinking about it. The point is, before we get into what we should do or what we shouldn't do, how can we better connect with ourselves? How can we better go on a healing journey to understand our own triggers that are allowing us to see what our kid is doing and going, oh my God, I'm so frustrated, I'm so annoyed at you, and going, okay, am I being triggered? Am I approaching this in the right way? How can I create a connection with them before I correct them? When I'm talking about the subject, I'm not coming from the point of view of here are the laws that we need to have in place, or here's what the school needs to do in general. I'm talking about person to person, so parent to child, cousin to younger cousin, caretaker to the person that you're caring, whatever it is, whatever dynamic that you have that's one-on-one with a child or children in general, just coming with the mindset of how can I better connect with this child, whether they're a teenager who is a young adult, they're not a child anymore, or an actual child, so that can build that rapport and foundation to better understand where they're coming from, and then meet somewhere in the middle. It's not always going to be so nice and dandy. It's going to have a lot of friction and there can be a lot of tension, but at least trying gets you to the point where you're better able to create the results that you really want. I'm not saying that you have to understand why kids these days do this or that, but it is important to leave room and to listen and to engage and understand that whatever is important to them is important, period, full stop. No questions asked after that. Unless the question is for a better understanding. The 3 things that I want us to do today to be more successful in protecting kids online is, number 1, nothing to do with kids. It is getting therapy and going on a healing journey with ourselves first, no matter what your role is in a child or a young adult's teen's life. No matter what it is, get therapy. I'm talking about if you had trauma with a lowercase t or with a capital case T, get therapy and go on a healing journey. If you can't afford it, go figure out what there are different ways to do it. I am definitely a big believer in RTT therapy. I can put some links below if you want. Just let me know in the comments and I'll give you the link for like RTT type of therapy. You can do talk therapy. You can do like a group therapy. There's many different types of therapy. You also can do a healing journey where you're listening to audiobooks and podcasts. I mentioned that in the beginning, but just get in the habit of understanding who you are, why your behavior is the way that they are. Why do you have certain triggers? Why do you keep attracting certain people? Why do you keep reacting to certain things? Going internally and connecting with yourself and becoming your own best friend, because guess what? We're stuck with this person, whoever we are, for the rest of our life. This is the real ride or die right here. So how are we talking to ourselves? How are we treating ourselves? So that when we're interacting with children, we're interacting with our own children, we're acting with other people's children or just the world in general, we already understand how to actually connect before connecting before trying to control someone to do what you want them to do, because at the end of the day, that child is a complete individual on themselves. We're just trying to make sure that we are giving them the runway to be as responsible as possible in the online space and the offline space. The second thing that I want you to do after connecting with yourself in therapy and healing is connecting with the kids in your life as well, making room for what they like and giving them that runway. The third thing I want you to do is change the way that you speak and think about the online world. Even though there are so many aspects that are dangerous, you want to be like, okay, I see where this tool is. This is a tool. I will not let the technology use me. I'm going to use it. How can I empower myself and my kids to use technology in a healthy way, in moderation, in a way that's best for me and our family and our goals? And then think about, what are our goals as a family to better protect kids online? It's not just I want my kids to do what I want them to do or whatever they want to do, because it's not all about what they want to do either, but how can we meet in the middle of what are our goals for each other, what are their goals for themselves, and how can we best accomplish that through safe online use? If you need support in understanding how do I implement these type of steps in my life, how do I understand technology, understand security and safety and privacy, how do I have these conversations with my kids, how do I have these conversations with myself, then check out safekidsmovement.com. That is where I personally help parents understand how to protect their kids online while building strong parent-child relationships, because that relationship is the foundation of actually protecting them online. To understand more about teen online safety, then check out the video that I'm linking right now.